time, I labeled it as my worst case. Today, I realize that I have such a huge graveyard that there are so many bad cases that this can no longer qualify as my worst case. There are much worse ones. But anyway, I'll show you what it is. It's a fairly long story, so I'm not going to stop and ask you questions. It's all mistakes made by me at various points of my surgery, in the decision making, everything. All the faults are mine. So I'm just going to show you the story, and you can take whatever you want from the story. There are no conclusions. Okay? So this 80-year-old gentleman, diabetic, hypertensive, had a CABG, had a spinal stenosis with degenerative lumbar listhesis. I did a right-sided L4-5 TLIF with decompression and fusion. Post-operatively, I felt that the right-sided screw was slightly medial, and patient was complaining of not very severe, but he was having an irritant right leg pain. SLR was positive. So I went in and revised the screw uneventfully. 2 days later, and I did not notice any dural tear or anything at that time. 2 days later, the wound was clean, patient was discharged. He came back with a swelling in the back, copious discharge from the womb, watery, straw-colored, mild gaping of wound at the upper end, and there was a lot of inflammation around the wound. I re-explored the wound, I found frank pus. Not much slough, implants were holding well, there was no biofilm. There was a dural leak which was present in the region of the revised screw, a small puncture. So I did copious irrigation and debridement. The question then was, should I remove the implant, retain the implant, replace the implant? At that time, it was well-fixed implants, it was still fresh surgery. I was reluctant to remove the implant, I held on to them. How should I deal with the dural tear? Fat pad, dural glue, CSF diversion at this stage, or just a simple tight wound closure? Obviously, both the last 2 times we had done a tight wound closure, irrespective of the fact that we didn't know there was a dural tear. So that hadn't helped. So I used a fat pad and a tissue over there. How should we deal with the wound? Should I do a tight wound closure over a drain, negative pressure, local antibiotic beads, flaps? So at that point in time, I was a little worried about negative pressure wound therapy because there was a dural tear and I was worried it would suck out CSF and create a whole dural fistula of some sort. And therefore, I closed the wound tightly over a drain. So there it is, implant retained, fat graft and tissue applied, wound closure. The culture turned out to be Klebs pneumonia, sensitive only to colistin and meropenem. IV meropenem was started, drain increased day by day, clear fluid. What's happening? It's going very fast, okay. Drain increased day by day, clear fluid, dressing soaked 3-4 times, post-operative 7 day, drain was removed. Sutured around the drain site, oversewing of the drain site and oversewing of the wound. I put in some more sutures and I put in some gauze piece to give some pressure over there. It's a described method. Next morning, the drain, after the drain, the dressing was again soaked. What now was my question. With each passing day, I think I was losing more and more of sleep, heartburns, all sorts of problems were there. From the patient, poor guy was suffering, family was suffering, finances were out of whack. From my side, I just didn't know what to do now. So, what now? Re-explore CSF diversion. I think Priyank might remember I had called him up about this. And because I wanted the number of this guy who give zip line, now this zip line is closed. Now they don't sell it in Bombay. It was a lovely thing. Priyank said, sir, you get it from here. We got it. And we used it, actually helped me to seal the wound. So, wound was very delicate. Lumbar drain for CSF was inserted. And this was a big worry. In the presence of an already existing Klebs infection, the CSF is not coming under control. How do I deal with the dural tear? And so I very reluctantly put in a CSF drain also for insertion. And to the main suture line, I applied this zip line. for the next few days, daily 200 ml CSF was drained. Dressings were initially soaked and chained. Later on, the dressing of the main wound became dry. On post-operative day 5, the CSF drain was removed and patient was started mobilization after 2 days. Wound was dry and healthy. No swelling, no bogginess. Suture removal done at the routine time, 14 days. Continued with IV meropenem for 6 weeks and started on oral antibiotics. This is the wound 8 weeks post-surgery. 6 weeks were now completed with IV. 2 weeks on oral antibiotic. Now the patient started complaining of low back pain, increasing. Fever, toxemia, malaise, joint pains, spine movements were painful. Total count was elevated, ESR was elevated, and this is the story of 80-year-olds. Hypoproteinemia, hyponatremia, blood culture showed K pneumonia, resistant to all drugs. Now what? This was the MRI picture at that time. You could see a collection at the back. Otherwise, everything seemed to be okay. So I re-explored. The CT scan showed this, a pus collection, pocket at the screw level, no bony involvement, no disc space, no halos around the screws at all. So how should we proceed? Should we aspirate the pus and give IV antibiotics because everything else seemed to be okay? I was really reluctant to open up because finally the wound had healed. Finally the CSF leak had stopped. Now opening it up again was a little scary. So I was also contemplating, should I just aspirate the pus under ultrasound guidance and give IV antibiotics or do an irrigation and debridement? Finally I decided to open it up. When I opened up, one half of the wound was completely healed. You can see it was cherry red, lovely granulation tissue. Only the other half showed a small pocket above the dural sac. Not much slough. Paraspinal muscles on one side had healed. Implant was not even seen. No communication between the pus pocket and the disc space. I checked that also. There was no communication. So I decided, how should we proceed? Remove implant, retain or replace implant? How should we again deal with the wound? So I did a debridement, removal of pedicle screws on the right side. VAC was applied. Culture again grew klebs. IV antibiotic chain to injection, colistin and something called Elorase. I've never used it before or after. For 4 weeks. Closure done over a drain after multiple VAC dressings. I was confident of VAC. Now that the dural tear had healed, I could apply a VAC. High protein diet, pain gradually reduced, started mobilizing. ESR CRP had a decreasing trend. 16 weeks after the index operation, 4 months, this guy again started complaining of pain. Movements again became painful, difficulty in walking. In view of the increased creatinine, colistin and meropenem were stopped and polymyxin B and Elorase were started. MRI was repeated. This is what the MRI showed. You can see that the disc, there was a collection around the cage. The cage was completely loose within the disc space and there was some collection posteriorly. So somewhere between 16 to 24 weeks, I think I took him up. All implants, including the cage, were removed. VAC was applied. Tissue culture now grew Candida and Klebsiella. Multiple VAC dressings, all these fancy antibiotics, hyperproteinemia, hyponatremia. Every day I used to pray this guy should not die. That was the only thing I could think of morning and evening when I think seriously lost a couple of years of life at that time. Wound settled and was closed 3 weeks after debridement. IV antibiotics continued for 3 months. Oral for 6 months we gave. This is the guy at 14 months. He survived in spite of me, not because of me. Thank you.